Dear students of class 8, welcome to you all. Today I like to discuss the Anglo Mysore War and Anglo Maratha War. We know that Anglo Mysore War, during that time, Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali was the powerful rulers of Mysore. Now, this initially the Hyder Ali became the founder of the kingdom, and Hyder Ali, you know that, captured power in the year 1758 and became the supreme ruler of Mysore in 1761. Captured power in 1758, became the supreme ruler of Mysore in 1761. Now, when he became the ruler, the British made an alliance with the Nizam of Hyderabad and the Marathas. This was known as Triple Alliance. So, this also naturally, when Hyder came to the throne, he formed a formidable enemies like the British. You see that in the first Anglo Mysore War, which was fought in 1767, between 1767 and 1769. We see that the British, the Hyder Ali suddenly attacked the British, you see that the base, naval base, the Madras in 1769, and the British were almost defeated, and thus they were compelled to sign the Treaty of Madras in the same year. By this treaty, both sides agreed to restore their mutual territories, conquered territories, and also signed a defensive alliance. What is a defensive alliance? That in case of any attack of Marathas, the Hyder Ali would get the help, or Nizam. So that was the alliance. It was signed with the British. However, in the second Anglo Mysore War began in 1780-1784, when the Marathas attacked, the British did not help. And what happened? The British seized Mahe, a French settlement under Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali naturally attacked the British and captured Arcot. However, when the second Anglo Mysore was going on, he died in 1782. But his son, Tipu Sultan, carried on the war, continued the war after the death of his father. And however, ultimately, Tipu Sultan signed a treaty, peace treaty, in the year 1784. 1784, it was the Treaty of Mangalore. 1784, Treaty of Mangalore. Now, Third Anglo Mysore War. Third Anglo Mysore War was fought between 1789 and 92. What happened during this time? We see that the Tipu Sultan attacked Travancore. Travancore was the state, native state under the protection of the British. Actually, the British protested and Lord Wellesley came as the Governor General. Meanwhile, we know it is the ultimately, I should correct it, it is not Lord Wellesley, but Lord Cornwallis. Lord Cornwallis came as Governor General and the war began. Ultimately, the Tipu Sultan was defeated and half of his kingdom was annexed to the British Empire, and we know his two sons were taken as hostage, and huge amount of war compensation was imposed on Tipu. It is amounting 3 crores 30 lakhs, and it was also decided that until or unless the war compensation was given or paid off by the Tipu, his two sons were taken as hostage. So, this was and what was the treaty? Third Anglo-Mysore Treaty of Seringapatam. Treaty of Seringapatam, it was signed in the year 1792. By the now Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, 1799. It was we know that after the defeat, Tipu was able to reorganize the army. He strengthened his army and also so that his forts were again rebuilt. He rebuilt his forts and also made contact with different countries like Turkey and France. We know that the Wellesley came during the time as Governor General in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, and Wellesley proposed him to sign subsidiary treaty or alliance. Now Tipu Sultan refused to sign the treaty, and naturally and also he was told to sever his connection or cut off his connection with France. However, we see that the war began. Wellesley stormed the capital, that is Seringapatam, and it was besieged, and ultimately Tipu fought a hero's death, and he fought till the last drop of his blood. In the battlefield he died in the year 1799. Now with this, the death of Tipu Sultan, the formidable, he is called Tiger of Mysore, the most formidable enemy of the British, and his kingdom was annexed to the British Empire. Now we see that the next on the Anglo-Maratha Wars. We know that the Marathas was a very powerful race, warrior race, and it is the Battle of Panipat, Third Battle of Panipat, 1761. The Balaji Bajirao was defeated by Ahmad Shah Abdali, the Afghan chief, in the Third Battle of Panipat. It was a very crushing blow to the Maratha power and prestige. However, after the defeat, still the Maratha power and prestige was revived. It was by Peshwa Madhav Rao. In 1761, he surmounted all difficulties. And now what happened? During the First Anglo-Maratha War, Warren Hastings was the Governor General at that time. Now, Peshwa Madhav Rao died in the year 1772. Meanwhile, after his death, Narayan Rao came to the throne, but Narayan Rao was assassinated by the intrigue of Raghunath Rao. British now supported the claims of Narayan Rao's uncle. He was uncle of Narayan Rao, and Narayan Rao was assassinated or killed by Raghunath Rao. So, British now supported the claim of Raghunath Rao as Peshwa. The other Maratha chiefs like the Sindhya and other chiefs, the Maratha chiefs supported Narayan Rao's son. After the death of or killing of Narayan Rao, his wife gave birth to a son, Sayaji Madhav Rao, and they supported the claim of Sayaji Madhav Rao as Peshwa, not Raghunath Rao. And it was also supported by Nana Fadnabis, one of the greatest diplomat of the time. He was the chief minister and regent of minor Peshwa, that is Madhav Rao, Sayaji Madhav Rao, and along with him came to support a very great general, Maratha general, Mahadji Scindia. Now, both of them attacked the British and Raghunath Rao, and British was defeated and compelled to sign the Treaty of Salwai in 1784. And Raghunath Rao, who was pensioned off. Now, Second Anglo-Maratha War. Second Anglo-Maratha War, it was 1803 to 05. 1805. Now, meanwhile, we see that the both Nana Fadnavis, already I mentioned, the greatest diplomat of time, and his general Scindia, who was the most towering personality of the time. However, the Scindia died in the year 1794, and young Peshwa, untimely death, died in 1795. It weakened the death of both Scindia and Madhav Rao weakened the Marathas. Now we see that Baji Rao too, after endless conspiracy, after an unending conspiracy, Baji Rao too became, and you know that wanted to become Peshwa, and he became declared himself Peshwa 1796. The son of Raghunath Rao, Baji Rao too. Now meanwhile, the death, Nana Fadnavis died in the year 1800. His death also, Nana Fadnavis weakened the Marathas. And it was followed by the struggle between the Maratha chiefs. As long as he was his power, Nana Fadnavis, the Maratha chiefs were united. After his death, the Maratha chiefs were again fought with each other. So, struggle between Scindia and Holkar for the control of Peshwa Baji Rao II. However, in 1802, Holkar defeated the combined troops of Scindia and Baji Rao II near Pune. Baji Rao II, the Peshwa fled to Besin, a place in Maharashtra, and concluded a subsidiary treaty with the British. He signed a subsidiary alliance with the British. Now, it was a great shock to the Maratha chiefs. They did not accept it. Actually, we see that many other Maratha chiefs objected it. Holkar was not ready to accept the treaty, and meanwhile, Wellesley was the Governor General. We know that he introduced the subsidiary alliance. He was called off. He was called back to England, and thus Holkar was saved. And otherwise, however, Holkar signed a treaty of Rajghat with the British in 1806, and most of his territories was thus retained, or restored. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, it was fought between 1817 and 18. Now we see that what happened? Baji Rao II, the then Peshwa, became repented. Why? Because he signed the subsidiary treaty and became a subordinate ally under the British, and also decided to attack the British. Now he decided to form a Maratha confederacy and built a huge army, large Maratha army, and attacked Pune and British residency at Pune, and in 1817. But the British defeated Baji Rao II, defeated all the forces, and now meanwhile Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Holkar also attacked the British, but they were also defeated and had to accept the subsidiary treaty. Now, it is in this way the Baji Rao II ultimately was defeated, and he was pensioned off. And ultimately his Peshwaship also was taken away, and he was sent to Bitur, a place in Maharashtra where he spent his last days. And this is the story of, however, in the Third Anglo-Maratha War ended in the year 1818, and by 1818 the British established their supremacy, political supremacy over the Indian subcontinent, almost defeating all the major powers except Sindh and the British. However, I like to make a discussion later on Anglo-Carnatic wars, and if necessary, Anglo-Sikh wars. Thank you all.